Hello and welcome to this week's video. This week we're going to be talking about the Jackery Explorer 1000. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, you'll know that I'm in the engine room of my Narrowboat. If you're new to the channel, my name's Mark, and with my wife Debbie we cruise the UK's inland waterways on our Narrowboat, so we're no strangers to generating and storing our own power. Right, about a month ago I'd done a video review on the Jackery Explorer 240, which is Jackery's entry-level model. They've since then approached me, asked me if I'd be interested in reviewing their Jackery Explorer 1000, which is the largest model they do at the moment in the UK. They've given me this for free. I don't have to send it back. Now, if that makes you feel that I'm not going to give an honest review, maybe you should now go and view another channel. Those of you who know me, you know that I'm going to give an honest review, try and put it through its paces as best as I can. What I'm going to do, we're going to see it at work in the workshop, we're going to see it at work in the kitchen, we're going to see it at work in the office, and we'll see if we can do a couple of little bench test type things. Now, there's some wonderful reviewers out there who've done some fantastic bench tests with these. They can be a little bit techie for some people who are not that way inclined. So what I'm going to try and do is think of ways where you people will use this in your everyday life. Now, something I need to mention, for the next few days, the 18th, 19th and 20th of October 2021, Jackery have got 15% off on all of their products on their Amazon site. I've put the links down below in the video description, so if you click on those links, you purchase anything on the 18th, the 19th and 20th, you will get 50% off. That's their Explorer 500, their Explorer 240 and their Saga 100 solar panel. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to get it plugged into their Jackery Saga 100 solar panel and see how it performs on an average day. Right, make the most of the sun while it's out. The Jackery Explorer 1000 is plugged into the Saga 100, and we'll just have a look at where the panel is at the moment. It's 1:30 in the afternoon, so we haven't got a great deal of sun left, but we'll see how much charge that will put into that today. Right, so we're at 46%. The panel is in full sun and we're getting 71 watts. Yeah, so we'll just leave that for the rest of the afternoon and see if we can get to 100%. Right, the bright sunshine has gone now. I think we're set in for this for the rest of the day. Haze, so we'll just go have a look at the unit and see what the solar's putting in now. Yeah, so we're down to 31 watts. We're still at 49%. Right, that's the best I've seen so far. The sun's come back out and we've got, it keeps jumping between about 82 and 84 watts. Right, it's 6:45, running out of light. Hasn't been the sunniest of days, but it's had sort of 4.5 hours on there, so we're going to have a look, just see what it's done. Yeah, so very little solar going in now, and I think I will have to double check. When we started filming this at 1:30, we was at 49%, so a slight increase but nothing massive. Yeah, so that particular day for solar wasn't fantastic, but it gives you some honest expectations of what you can expect. So we had it on, I've just put my glasses on, we had it on for 6.5 hours, mixed sun and cloud, and all we had was an increase of 14% or 140 watt hours. So not fantastic. Had we had the two panels, because you can connect those together, two panels together with a connector that they supply, in theory you'd have doubled the input, so you'd have had 240 watt hours going back. So if the unit was completely discharged, 240 watt hours, it's nearly a quarter that would have gone back in that 6.5 hour period. So on that, it would take you 3 to 4 days to fully charge it under those weather conditions. beautiful blazing sunshine, midsummer, you're going to get it charged. I think they're, as I'll see if I can put it up here, they've got a little diagram in their booklet that it will take around about 7.5 hours to fully charge with solar. Right, so we shall hop over into the workshop and see how it performs with some power tools in there. Right, as I mentioned, I've got some woodworking projects to do. I'm not going to actually do those within this video, but I'm just going to show you some of the tools that I will be using. We've got a bandsaw here, we've got a pillar drill over here. If I spin the camera around, we've got a bench grinder, and over here, that's a pointy finger, we've got a sander. Yeah, so Jackery should deal with them no problem whatsoever, but we're going to put them all through their paces and just see how they go. Right, first one I'm going to try is the pillar drill. I'll have a look at the rating plate and I'll probably put up here what the rating is, but that should cope with that okay, so we'll find out. So if we pop the pillar drill on, that's pulling about 175 watts from the Explorer 1000. Now going to put the bandsaw on. And albeit a bit noisy, we're now pulling about just over 400 watts. The next one we've got is a small bench grinder. And as you can see, the startup current, that's shot up to nearly 400 watts, but that's now settled in at 86 watts. Now, I've just seen the rating plate on the sander, 350 watts. Probably expect that to just jump up a little bit higher than that when we start it, but the Explorer 1000 should cope with that no problem. So here we go, switch it on. Right, as you can see, that coped with all those power tools in the workshop fine. What you will find, anything with an inductive load, i.e. something with a motor, it's going to have a startup current anywhere between 4 and 7 times of the rating of the motor. So the nearer you get to that 1000 watt mark, you're going to put that into a position where it will go into overload. But with power tools round about the 500 watt mark, no problem whatsoever. 1 kilowatt heater, no problem whatsoever. You've got no insurge startup current on a resistive load. It's your inductive load you have to be careful with. Yeah, so I'm confident that the Explorer 1000 is going to satisfy all my needs in the workshop for my DIY projects that I've got upcoming, and you'll obviously get to see this unit again when I'm doing those projects. And obviously all of those DIY projects will fall under my not how to but how I do categories of videos. Well, that was roughly what I expected. I've used some other manufacturers' units that are actually bigger than the Jackery, and with an inductive load they didn't actually turn out as well as I thought they would have done. I was using a bigger load for those tests, so I shall go into that on another video. But as long as you remember, as I just said, that with an inductive load, something with a motor, so you power tools, fans, compressors, there's going to be a startup current of between 4 and 7 times the original rating. Now there's quite a favourable surge allowance within the Jackery. It's rated at 1 kilowatt, but it will accept a 2 kilowatt surge for a short period of time, allowing for that startup current of those inductive loads. So let's take it over into the kitchen. Debbie's not here to demonstrate anything in the kitchen, so I'm going to bumble my way through this bit. Right, so let's see if the Jackery Explorer 1000 will cook my Sunday dinner. Yeah, so for this little experiment, we're fully charged with the unit, and we've got a nice joint of lamb, and we're going to cook it in the slow cooker. Now this is a very small slow cooker, and I think the wattage on this is Yeah, 120 watts. So that's going to cope with that, and that should take 5 or 6 hours to cook that. So we'll see what sort of drain that puts on the battery. There we go, 100%. First thing we've got to do, press the button, turn the AC outlet on, and plug our slow cooker in. And once we turn the unit on, and we can see what that's drawing. So see you all in a few hours time for Sunday lunch. Yeah, so as you can see from the display, good old Jackery cooked our lovely lamb roast. I think that was on round about till 7 o'clock in the evening, and we're down to 46%. Right, so I've plugged the Explorer 1000 into the mains. I just want to get this charged up as quick as possible so I can run some more load tests. It's a 180 watt mains charger, and we've got 145 watts going in. So as you can see, that coped with the few appliances that I did try it out on. If you've got a mini grill or a mini worktop hob, providing it's below 1 kilowatt rating, it should handle that no problem whatsoever. Now, any of you do any video editing with one of these, you'll know they're quite power hungry. So we're now going to plug in the charger and see what sort of dent it makes in the jack. Now the Explorer 1000, the battery is at 100%. We've got our kilowatt hour meter that we've zeroed. The battery on the MacBook is completely dead. I just let it run completely out. So we'll just plug that in, and then we'll plug our charger in. Yeah, so it's jumping about between about 95 and 119 watts. So we'll see how long that takes to fully charge. Right, so we just hit the 100% mark. Let's have a look. We're down to 85% on the Jackery, and we've used, let's see if I can get it so the reflection's not on it, 106 watt hours, or 0.1 of a kilowatt hour. So what I'll do now, I'll try some of the other ports out on the unit. I can plug my iPad into the USB port, my phone into the USB-C, and we'll see what difference that makes. And that's pulling around about the 20 watt mark with my iPad and my iPhone plugged in. And Debbie hiccuping in the background.
Sorry.
Right, so this morning we'll be doing breakfast with the Explorer 1000. We've got an electric toaster. This is one we had from our caravanning days. Again, low wattage. This particular one is between 600 and 700 watts. And we have an electric kettle. Again, low wattage one, rated between 900 and 1000 watts. Now the Jackery unit is 1000 watts, so it will only handle one of these at a time, but it should handle them no problem at all. The kettle's going to be the biggest load. Haven't tried any of these. All these tests I'm doing are the first time I've ever used the unit, so if it fails for me and you. So you get to see it as it is. Right, first one we'll do the kettle, get a brew on the go. Right, first thing we need to do is turn the unit on with the AC button. That's brought our kilowatt hour meter on. Flick the kettle on. Hear the fan kick in. And we're actually drawing 973 watts, which is putting a, yeah, so that's running that unit round about the max. Now I think we have the world's slowest kettle. 7 minutes and 46 seconds. Now for the toaster. Yeah, and that is pulling around about the 680, 660 mark. Well, that's breakfast sorted. Plenty of power to spare for my little DIY projects this afternoon. So I'll join you then. So what are we actually getting with the Jackery Explorer 1000? Well, it's a 1002 watt hour power bank, which consists of a lithium ion battery bank. You have a 1000 watt pure sine wave inverter with two 230 volt outlets. You've got a 10 amp cigarette style 12 volt outlet. You've got USB-C, USB-A and a USB fast charge, and then you've got a couple of inputs for your solar panels. You've got this little one here which comes with the proprietary plug which is on the solar panel, and you get an Anderson connector with an adapter to allow you to plug in the Anderson cable and then connect two of their 100 watt solar panels together. You also get a cigarette lighter type charger, so you can plug that into a 12 volt outlet into a car or a van or your RV and be charging it as you're traveling along. Not the most efficient way of charging it, but if you're on a long journey, that's a way to get another charge into it. And you get a power brick or mains charger, so you can plug that directly into the 230 volt outlet on the wall. And then for all your USB and your 12 volt, you've got an on and off button there to turn it on and off, and the same there for your AC. One little feature, I don't know whether anybody else mentioned, there is a torch on there, reasonably bright, and if you hold it for 3 seconds it will start flashing in an SOS type thing. Don't know how many people would use that, but if you was out camping somewhere, something happened, you had no cell phone coverage, hopefully with the fully charged battery that's going to flash SOS all night long for a few nights. And just in case you are interested in the specification of the battery, it's a 46.4 amp hour battery at 21.6 volts, and as I said, they're cylindrical type lithium ion cells. It comes in at 10 kilos. I can just about hold it arm's length, so not light but not heavy by any degree. And dimensions of it, it's quite a small unit. As I said, I've got a 2 kilowatt unit which was twice the capacity of this, which is actually about 3 to 4 times the weight of this, so watt to weight ratio, this is quite a good unit. Who is the Explorer 1000 for? Not for somebody who lives in a narrowboat. As you people who watch the channel, you know of the setup we already have. I don't know whether you can see over here, we've got a 2000 watt pure sine wave inverter. We have a battery bank of 520 amp hours of battery, lead acid batteries there, and we've got 700 watts of solar on the roof of the boat. I have made an adapter up so I can actually plug my solar into this, but you're limited to a maximum of 200 watts, so I'd only be able to use one of the panels, which is 175 watts. So maybe that would be something that, if there was one thing I could say could be improved with this particular model, just would be a bigger MPPT controller, just to take more solar, because for off-gridding or RV, camping, motorhomes, it's not just about having the available power, it's being able to put that charge back in. Obviously off-grid, your main source of input is going to be solar, so I think it's sort of very important that you probably have a bigger MPPT controller, just to be able to get more charge into the, especially in the UK. We're not in Florida or California where we've got 12 hours of sunshine. Realistically, in the UK, we're very lucky for a few days of the year we will get sort of blue skies all day long. Would I buy it? No, I wouldn't buy it for the narrowboat. Before, when we had the caravan, it is possibly something I would have bought, especially when I had a decent job and I was earning a lot more money than I do now. Like I say, these aren't cheap, they're new technology, but I think the Jackery units are very good units. Obviously, you're all adults, you can go out there, do your own research on the competitors. There's some fantastic, as I said, very technical reviews on these, and I hope I've sort of give this more of a layman's terms, what it would do for you type of review. Yeah, so if any of you watching have got any of these Jackery products, and you've good or bad, leave the comments down below, because then anybody else viewing the video will get to read those comments. So it's always interesting to know. I've only had this a short period of time, and I've only been able to put it through those tests that you've just seen, so I don't know what the support is like when these go wrong. I'd like to think with a company which is so well advertised as Jackery, that their support network is as good as their products. That would be nice to know, but again, you chaps will be able to answer that for me. One thing worth mentioning, when it's not being used, switch either the AC or the DC off if it's not being used. I've just turned the AC on, and as you can see, it's using 6 watts. So that pure sine wave inverter is using 6 watts in the standby mode. So if you left it like that, after a while it's going to drain. I'm not sure whether there's an auto switch off mode on this. I do like the on and off buttons. Again, I have another unit by another company and it's all touchscreen, which is fantastic. If the touchscreen fails, you've got no way of actually manually turning those on and off. So I do like that little feature about the Jackeries. Yes, so in essence what we have here is a 1002 watt hour, or nearly a 1 kilowatt hour battery storage unit. So 1 kilowatt hour in theory would run a 1 kilowatt load for 1 hour. On paper it should do, it doesn't. There's obviously inefficiencies within the unit. The inverter itself has inefficiencies, and I think with the Jackery it's 85% efficient. So working on that, if you had 1002 watt hours and you multiply that by the inverter efficiency, so multiply 1002 by 0.85, so that's going to give you 851 usable watts. You then multiply that by 60 minutes and it's going to give you 51 minutes. So in theory it should run a 1 kilowatt load for 51 minutes. Yeah, so I hope, as I said, I hope you found something of interest within this video. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button down below. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button, and comment please. If there's anything that you think I've missed, any questions to ask. If I don't know, hopefully somebody else who's watching the video and reading the comments will have the answer to that for you. Bye.